phone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for lrn.fm in the Android or Apple app stores.
Around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading around $1,280. Silver at $14.50. And Bitcoin is trading around $7,891. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the worst fears of Julian Assange's legal team have been realized. The Mind Unleashed reports that the Department of Justice has unveiled a slate of new charges against Assange, including 17 new counts of violating the Espionage Act, stemming from his role in publishing the classified documents leaked by Chelsea Manning. In addition to significantly raising the punishment threshold from a maximum of 5.5 years under the previous indictment to the prospect of a death sentence for violating the Espionage Act, the new charges will raise serious First Amendment issues, as Assange will become the first journalist charged under the Espionage Act. According to the New York Times, the Obama administration considered bringing the Espionage Act charges against Assange, but balked because it didn't want to raise the Fifth Amendment issue. While WikiLeaks had warned of the possibility, they suspected that the United States would wait until Assange was on American soil before bringing Espionage Act-related charges. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Saudi-led coalition's war on Yemen shows little sign of dwindling. And now, over 4 years after it began, its borders are increasingly fluid, as Yemen's Houthi movement increasingly takes the fight to Saudi Arabia's soil. Minpress News reports that last Monday, the Houthis announced that amid increasingly grim prospects for peace, they would begin a campaign to target 300 vital Saudi-led coalition military and economic targets, including military headquarters and facilities inside Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, as well as Saudi-led coalition military targets inside Yemen. The fourth attack in the 300-target blitz came Thursday, when Yemen's army, loyal to Houthis, launched a drone strike against a U.S.-made Saudi Patriot air defense system at the Najran Regional Airport in southern Saudi Arabia. The airport lies 840 kilometers southwest of Riyadh, near the Saudi-Yemen border, and has been targeted twice in several days. Western Europe is home to a cluster of developed economies that boost some of the highest standards of living in the world. But that could soon change. The Mind Unleashed, citing NBC News, says that IQ scores in France, Scandinavia, Britain, Germany, and even Australia are beginning to decline. The trend has been well documented across Western Europe and could soon carry over to the United States. The data, simply put, means the world is getting dumber. Possible explanations for the drop include the rise of smartphones and other devices, which have worn away the ability to focus, the rise of lower-skill service work that isn't as intellectually stimulating, and less nutritious food. Whatever the cause, the trend seems to portend a decline in long-term productivity and economic success, factors that have long been correlated with IQ. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. Quiet and reserved temp Kevin Wright surprised his coworkers this week when they discovered that the mild-mannered 27-year-old was actually an untalented singer-songwriter.
How did I get here? It's probably a tree.
Bright, who mostly keeps to himself at work, usually spends his free time embarrassing himself at open mics across the city, and that underneath his meek and soft-spoken exterior is a terrible guitarist with no musical sensibility whatsoever.
You see him in the office, he's this quiet, reserved kid, and you would never think, oh, he's got a great voice and a wonderful stage presence, and you'd be totally right.
In other news, an Ohio Film Festival graphic designer decides to go with film reels for the O's. And getting grandma into a family reunion t-shirt is a 3-person job. The entire 144-minute cut of this week's review is available now for just $11.99 on Laserdisc. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio you control. Take control of the airways with 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE as in Free Talk Live. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Melanie.
And Mark.
And it's Memorial Day.
It is Memorial
evidently.
Day, yes.
I would have completely missed it if they hadn't been talking about it at work all weekend because, changing business and all of that. It's not a holiday that I'm particularly
Changing
inclined.
business? What's that mean?
Making us busier.
Okay.
Essentially.
I see.
I tried to simply very loosely allude to my other job and not get into specifics.
All right.
But yeah, it's not a holiday that I'm particularly observant of. I suspect the two of you are not either.
Well, it's a holiday and other people celebrate it, so
that's true.
If you want to have a little picnic or something, it's a nice day to do that.
Did you see that the U.S. Army attempted to make people feel patriotic about their service, and it sort of backfired with lots of people going to Twitter to talk about how
yes,
it had given them PTSD and more or less just ruined their lives?
Yeah, it was something like tell your veteran story, and they did.
They did indeed.
It was even worse than that because it was something like, tell us how the Army has affected you. Which sometimes people forget that the internet doesn't only exist in the U.S.
Oh, were there people from like Yemen?
I don't know, but that's not how you should phrase something that you're going to post on the internet. I just saw the people who are like, oh, well, they blew my leg up and refused to pay for it, stuff like that.
Right.
But I didn't actually go search, so I don't know.
But other people are celebrating it in another way, it would seem, by erecting a monument to veteran suicides or something to that effect. Mark, you have the story.
Yeah, this is from the Buffalo News, and a group of people who, veterans who have died, who really don't get a lot of attention are the suicides because, there's veteran suicide seems higher than your average suicide rate.
6,000 every year since 2008.
And that's higher than anything out of a conflict. There's been more suicides basically daily than there are veterans killed on the vast majority of days since 2001. And it's probably before that, too.
That's staggering when you think about it in those terms. I didn't stack that against combat deaths, but It seems that what's more lethal to the American military is not the enemy, but fighting.
Right. And combat deaths are the ones that show up for people. And, there's a lot fewer of them than there used to be. There's certainly harrowing for the family to experience and all those sorts of things. But those are the kind of things that people lionize in their minds. But there's a lot of suicides, and those people get zero recognition. They're just swept under the carpet because nobody wants to talk about how, I don't know, why. I mean, you can call in and tell me why it occurs, 855-450-3733.
Well, I imagine there aren't too many things that are just more traumatic and more likely to make you lose faith in just life as a whole than watching people get blown to pieces.
That's what I hear from veterans. That's what my conjecture is that whatever occurs for these guys is so traumatic that they just can't handle life after that.
It's also kind of the case that you're kind of recruiting people for what is, in fact, a sociopathic mission, but you're not selling it that way. You're selling it like, hey, come protect freedom and protect us from terrorists. So that's the psychology profile that you get, but then you send them to do sociopathic things, and then halfway through they kind of figure out what's going on, which is why I think you have things like differences between troops and, things like cops. If you advertise for psychopaths and you have them go do psychopathic things, I think you'll be... Well, you won't be fine, but you won't have that particular problem.
Well, I think that I wouldn't use the terminology you're using. I think that there's a personality type of a warrior, right? And they can handle what they see out there in a way that other people can't. I think what.
Well, I'm not talking. Well, that's not my concern here. So I think that they know when they sign up that they're going to be killing people. I think that they were very lied to about the people that they're going to be killing. I think that they're told that they're going to be killing terrorists and actual threats, and that's just not the case.
And sometimes the terrorist is 6. Like it's a 6-year-old kid.
So you could have somebody who's completely prepared mentally and emotionally to go in and kill people who are actual terroristic threats, but not prepared to bomb the hospitals and orphanages.
Well, I imagine that a lot of these people simply think that they can handle the trauma, that they can think that they can shoot somebody and they'll be fine. Because most people do say something like, I would just shoot somebody if they broke into my home or whatever, but they're not actually prepared to.
I'm sure that that's some of it too, but I think that you make it worse by lying about who your targets are.
Right, and also they lay out these incentives for people to go to college and a variety of other incentives to be in the military. And I'm not saying that those incentives are terrible. It's just that, in many cases, the idea is you don't have any direction after school? And who has direction after high school? Very few people are like, oh, yeah, I need to do this thing or that thing. And if they do have direction, it's very unlikely to be the direction they're actually going to go. So you take this group of largely directionless people, you offer them discipline, a reasonably good paycheck, a fancy uniform that they can, pull down attention from the opposite sex with, or whatever it is that's important to them, and you dangle all that stuff in front of them, and plus the GI Bill and all that stuff, and then you're liable to get people who want those things, as opposed to people who, these warriors. And now I'm not saying the warriors don't already get in the military. I think they're just a very small percentage of the population, and we'd be fine with them if the United States military stayed within its borders and did what basically every European military does. Just take the warriors, give them the warrior job, and then those few times that you need them, send them out there, send out these meat-eating killers, because that's what we got. That's what you want in that circumstance.
Right? I mean, that's what they're trained to be, right?
Well, right. And when the rubber hits the road, that's who you want with the gun in their hand out there in front. And I'm not trying to make a value judgment on that in particular, but when you take the rest of the population and dangle all these wonderful things in front of them and tell them what a great life it's going to be, and ta-da, and then they go out there and their buddy next to him gets blown into little gobby bits. And he's like, you were told them the whole time, it's your job to cover your buddy. And then your buddies go bloom into yucky little bits, made up by some fertilizer bomb that's sitting on the side of the road for somebody who lives in a tent, right? We've got to go, the whole world begins to twist. Why did we do this? Why are we here? What's happening? And then their family is then, the family of the buddy, well, they're trying to figure out exactly why this, this is a highly traumatic experience, and people need to be prepared for it. I just don't think they are.
No, I would imagine they're not. I mean, train conductors are also relatively prone to PTSD, and it's because, people commit suicide by diving in front of trains and things like that.
It's probably pretty effective.
Yeah, I imagine it would be. But we see this quite a lot, where people who regularly experience human death in gory and tragic ways become traumatized to the point of being numb or killing themselves. So soldiers, absolutely, especially when we're sending them out into countries under false pretenses. Realistically, telling them that, oh, you're going to go fight for freedom. Well, these people aren't stupid. You may convince them for a time, but eventually...
Yeah, they figure it out. And then it's one of the only jobs that you're not legally allowed to quit. So you're stuck in there for, I think the standard contract is 5 years, but whatever it is.
5 years, really?
And it's not just that you can... It might have changed since last I looked.
I think it's 8 years, but you can do a certain amount on and a certain amount in
something like that. Like, it's a long time. It's not like they say, oh, well, you can't quit in the middle of combat. Well, okay, that would make sense.
Yeah, that makes
It's like, no, you're stuck there for a while.
I would disagree. If you have somebody fighting alongside you who wants to quit in the middle of the fight, it's probably in your best interest to let them walk away.
Right, and I don't disagree with that, but it's not, and that would not be an insane rule, right? Like, if I'm like, okay, we're going to war, you can't quit during the middle of a battle. It's like, okay, that's non-insane.
Right, maybe a 30-day process to quit or something like that make a bit more sense.
But if you're just chilling at a base and you're like, I think my job is evil now because I figured out XYZ, regardless of that, I agree with your assessment or not, the best thing for everybody is for you to leave.
Let us know your opinion, 855-450-FREE as in freedom.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. Like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehash stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com. I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
The Department of Health and Human Services has issued a new ban preventing the nation's saunas from any further use of tanning salons. The ruling was made after a study found that saunas are exposed to roughly 5,000 times more UV radiation each year than the average American.
They are at a very high risk of developing melanoma and orangey leathery skin. Saunas, you are tan enough.
The nation's saunas have reacted negatively to the ban.
I don't care what the government says. I just won $15 in scratches, so I'm getting a freaking tan. This sucks.
None of us have time for this. We've got Tammys at home to raise.
In an Onion News Network poll of saunas across the country, more than 30% argued that a pale complexion will negatively affect the size of their tips at Ruby Tuesdays. And more than half have said that their boyfriends Dennis like them tan. And he's the father of their second child, so they want him to stick around.
This is the Onion News Network.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Give us a call, take control of the airways, tell us what's on your mind. 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Melanie.
And Mark.
And it's a special Memorial Day, evidently.
Well,
but before we get into the story about, before we get further into the story about the tragic 6,000 deaths per year, suicides per year by veterans of various wars, let's go to the phones. We've got Carl calling from New York. Carl, you are on Free Talk Live.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. What's on your mind?
So I was wondering if you guys were familiar with cultural Marxism.
I've heard the term used. It seems pretty loaded. I don't know that Karl Marx spoke much about culture in the same way, but go ahead.
Well, he did, at least in the Communist Manifesto.
Okay. I know I read it, but it's been, 30 years.
It's on my agenda to reread it because I've heard that, he talks quite a lot about progressing from capitalism to state-run socialism, but has absolutely nothing to say about how they might then progress from socialism to anarchist communism.
That is accurate.
Right. Yeah,
that is accurate.
It's supposed to just
or at least it's accurate as of the Communist Manifesto. I haven't read everything he's written.
But I mean, like that most critical feature of passing from
like
the
your
state
actual
society.
goal.
Yeah. He's completely silent on that subject.
In the Communist Manifesto, he is silent on that.
Maybe it wasn't his goal.
So why do you ask, Carl?
So part of what it is that a lot of people are talking about is how a lot of people have talked about it. Essentially, what's happened is a lot of people that are against Western civilization that think like, oh, the ideas of traditionalism are oppressive or whatnot, they believe in, or they've been accused at least of believing in cultural Marxism. So I was wondering if you guys agreed with that.
I think you might have that backwards.
In what way?
The people who are opposed to traditional values would be the people who would be for generally cultural Marxism.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
okay,
I meant to say.
yes.
Sorry, I misspoke. Sorry.
Now, clarify for me what even is meant by cultural Marxism. Is it just a hatred of quote-unquote traditional values?
Well, it's this idea that essentially Western civilization, traditional values are considered bad or oppressive, and as a result, they need to be replaced with more progressive or socially progressive values.
Well, progressive, at least in that sense, is a point of view, and not anything that actually indicates progress.
Right. I mean, that's the mislabeling of terms. The way I feel is that people should be able to live their lives how they wish, and they should reap all the consequences of that life. And if they want to try out new and different lifestyles, who am I to say otherwise? If they expect somehow that I'm going to bear the responsibility for their decisions, on the other hand, only in so much as I can not avoid bearing that responsibility. So if the government is going to say that For instance, you're gonna eat really unhealthy throughout your life, and the government says that I have to take care of your heart disease. Well, I guess if I've got to pay those taxes, I'm going to pay those taxes that I can't avoid, but I'm going to try my very best to not pay any additional money into a governmental system. I consider the government to be highly inefficient. But as far as cultural Marxism goes, I mean, I often find this is a loaded term for people who want other people to live the way they want them to live.
Right.
I think the traditional...
it's cultural protectionism at the end of the day, that the right or the traditional value people want to engage in. It's just protectionism.
I live a very traditional lifestyle, right? Like my wife doesn't have a job outside of the house. I have a job outside of the house. We have a kid. We have very traditional gender roles and all that stuff. And I think it works very well. I'd go so far as to say, if you look at traditional religions around the world, the sort of very conservative religions. Check out the Amish, the Hasidic Jews, and I'm sure that there's a more in this list. These Quakers are another good one. These people tend to be financially prosperous. And I'm not saying financially prosperous is the greatest indicator of living a good life.
It's an indicator.
But it is an indicator.
And so to me, if you're going to call something cultural Marxist, you would have to be a little bit more specific than just it goes against traditional Western values, because there was a culture that Marx was going for. And so if you're talking about that, then yes, that's cultural Marxism. Just anything that's not traditional Western values, I wouldn't say is. So yeah, if it's something...
What is your take on traditional values versus social progressivism?
Well, going back to his point, I mean, I agree that nobody should be forced to live, a certain way, and I don't think anybody's advocating for the law to force anybody to, but I do think there is a movement, specifically on the left, to try and destroy, or to essentially try and say, oh, traditional values are bad, or family values are bad, or the West is bad. And I think that's outrageous, because I think that the West is incredible. I mean, you can, anything you want that you can afford, you can get with the touch of your finger now. And people are saying, oh, well, the West is bad. Well, the West has given us so many things. So, but I agree, nobody should be forced to live a certain way. But I think the question is, should an ideology that is against...
So let me ask you this. Sorry to interrupt, but let me ask you this. If you believe that nobody should be forced to live a specific way, what if the people who advocate for social progress, and I use that term loosely, would agree that you shouldn't be forced to adopt, quote, progressive values, but we don't like the values that you choose to live under?
Oh, that's fine, but I'm just saying, should it be encouraged?
What's wrong with encouraging it?
Well, no.
In the marketplace of ideas, the one that is most enticing, the one that is most attractive, is going to get the results.
I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to express that idea. You should, if you want to discuss it, but is it an idea that we should live by? If you want to, sure, but it's in terms of whether it's moral to, I would say no.
Well, see, there's two problems that I see with the encouraging it part. One is that in a lot of cases, we're being dishonest about the results of particular behaviors. That's, fraud in advertising. Sure. And then the other thing is so as far as a lot of not all, but a lot of harmful behaviors go, the benefits are privatized and the costs are socialized. There are benefits to harmful behaviors. You have a lot of, they're usually short-term benefits, but they do exist. So you get the benefit of, you have a great night getting high, you have all this fun doing whatever, you have all these short-term, benefits, because that's why you're doing it in the first place. If there was no benefits whatsoever, no one would do it. But then the costs are socialized, so you don't really see what this is actually costing.
Carl, thank you for the call. Certainly, that sort of valuing short-term gains over long-term gains is the problem that leads to much of this. This is Free Talk Live. Tell us what's on your mind, 855-450-FREE. free as in freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Or use the Discord server at discord.freetalklive.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon you'll need a plan and place to survive. Forget bunkers. You're not a live underground gopher. You need survivalist camps, the ultimate fully functional, off-the-grid mobile survival bug-out house that's well-equipped and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Bold statement? You bet. See them now at survivalistcamps.com. That's survivalistcamps.com. Trust your family's survival to survivalistcamps.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airways and tell us what's on your mind with 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And we ended up with a little bit of a discussion about cultural Marxism, which is something that I hear used a lot by people who are somewhat hesitant to define it, except in regard to its contrast, which would be apparently traditional values.
Yeah. So when I hear the term cultural Marxism, it immediately raises my hackles. As a very traditional guy who has a very traditional family, that I'm expecting to hear people say things like afterwards that once we get our plan enacted where we have vilified those on the left who disagree with us, then everybody will have to do as I say.
Well,
right? And
that's true of every ideology other than anarchy, though.
Yes.
Like, that's
right. That's exactly what I mean. Is that there's two equally bad ideas out there. Those that want to kill traditional values and never let anybody have them, and those that want to kill this cultural Marxism or whatever it is they're talking about and never let anybody do it. And then there's the rest of us in the middle who are like, well, do what you want so long as it doesn't bother me. And I think that's the vast majority of people. Some people won't hang out with certain folks because of the way they look or what they choose to do or whatever. And that's their business if they want. For me, I don't personally care. And I will say that if you take the conservative approach, or at least take a look at the conservative approach, in all likelihood, the vast majority of the times, it's going to have the best long-term result for you. And long-term results, I think, are the thing we should go for.
well, and by conservative approach, you mean in your personal life, not necessarily like foreign policy.
Right. I don't know, foreign policy, my approach would be usually not blowing things up.
Right.
Well, right, but I just thought that might be unclear to some people, so I...
Thank you.
I don't know if I fully agree that conservative values or traditional values are more likely to lead to long-term productivity or wealth or success. Yeah, because we haven't actually had the chance yet to try what I would characterize as social tolerance, not socialism or any of that nonsense. I'm a capitalist. I'm a diehard capitalist. I think that competition works. And I think that what we're seeing today is competition where traditional values are having to compete for their first time.
Well, I'd say tolerance is something that I would accept, would preach, but I would also say that that you have no obligation to be tolerant, right? Like if I determine that I don't want to hang out with people.
Well, it depends on how you define tolerance, I suppose. To me, I would use the stricter definition that tolerance is simply allowing something. I mean, in most connotations, tolerance it implies a certain level of dislike or unhappiness. Like, I tolerate this thing happening to me. Yeah. I tolerate these headaches. It implies that you're not overly fond of it.
Well, so I think that there's two things, right? Like, I can tolerate it in the world. So you can
Which simply means not using force, violence, or coercion to attempt to stop it, in my definition.
Or I can tolerate it in my life. So I may exclude people who exhibit, I do actively exclude people who exhibit certain behaviors from my life. Like, there's not allowed to be in my life. I'm just not going to spend any time. Or if I'm forced into a situation with those people, my conversation is going to be courteous but abrupt.
See, to me, that's the difference between tolerance and acceptance. Having somebody part of your life would qualify as acceptance to whatever degree. It may be loose acceptance where you are closer to not being overly excited about it, but you're not willing to push them out at this point, versus tolerance, which is not willing to tolerate them in your life, or not willing to have them in your life, but also not willing to use force, violence, and coercion to stop them. That's how I characterize all of this.
All right. I mean, I think that's all fine and dandy. It's just, one thing I would like to, I'd like to say, yes, there are people on the left that, especially they appear to populate places like Twitter. I see their tweets, and, they're lunatics. And they manage to get the attention that they get by being lunatics.
Certainly.
Then there's people on the right that basically are their polar opposites, but on opposite side of the same coin, in so much as they wish to force people to behave in the fashion that they wish them to behave. And I don't want those people defining the right or what I believe. So I'm willing to say I live a conservative lifestyle because that's just the truth. But I don't want it, intolerance to necessarily be part of that. By the way, if you're sitting there as a lefty thinking, oh, I'm very tolerant, you don't tolerate my way of thinking. Once I want to live my life the way I want to live my life and not have you steal money from me to populate your little programs or in the government or whatever, suddenly your tolerance goes out the window. Right? Like my tolerance is fine that I don't want to tell people how to live, but my intolerance of inefficient government programs, whoa, that's just crazy talk. Western civilization is going to crumble and stuff.
But I mean, even if that was the case, I would still ask the question of, well, it's a pretty conservative traditionalist mindset to be concerned that Western society is going to crumble in the first place.
Perhaps.
I mean, it seems to me like the progressive one would be, okay, well, then something will rise from the ashes.
Something, these centrist leftists here in Keene are constantly seem to be worrying about Western civilization falling apart when I talk about not funding whatever government program it is that they're concerned about.
Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, people like using the state to support their views.
If a particular idea is bad, it will have bad results.
It will have bad results. If, on a personal level, if everybody's paying for their own stuff.
Right. It will have bad results on a personal level if everybody's paying for their own stuff. If they're not, then we'll never know what bad choices are because people will never have to deal with the consequences. The consequences of bad action are bad, and they're bad for the person with the bad action and the people who are in their immediate vicinity and people they come in contact with.
And this isn't even necessarily malicious, so you don't necessarily know what you're doing that's a bad action if you're not getting all of it. It's not like you get a letter from the feds every month. Okay, this month we have subsidized the following behaviors that you engaged in. Like, you don't necessarily know what you should even move around to be getting better results. You just know that you're not bankrupt and you still have a place to live.
Right.
So,
well, isn't that sort of intentional to just sort of obfuscate the entire thing?
On the part of the government or the part of the state, yes. On the part of an individual who's not part of the state and just is living their life, absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah, if we don't force people, if we don't leave people to the results of their actions, at least at some point. I get it. Sometimes people need a bailout, and I'm ready to help with those sorts of things. Hopefully that's your family that's doing the bailing out. But if you've got a family full of people that make bad choices, they just need to deal with the consequences of those bad choices. Stop having me subsidize it, because you're just going to get more families that make bad choices. We humans like good things in the short term. And as Melanie was saying previously, some bad action will get you good things in the short term. If we subsidize bad action and people have good what they consider to be good results because of that bad action, you're going to get more of it. So I don't know what the bad action is, but I know that forcing me to support whatever it is, we're going to get more of it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's incentivizing it for all intents and purposes. It's allowing people to get drunk every single day without the hangover and without the risk of alcoholism, or at least the risk of the consequences of alcoholism, to just use an obvious example of something that in the short term may be good. But see, that's capitalism as a whole, and that's why these leftists don't like capitalism, because it's all about savings and long-term advantages versus short-term gains.
Right.
For the capitalist society, it's all about taking these resources and holding them until we can turn them into something better, or turning them into something better, where for the socialist, it's more instant gratification. Now. I don't want to face the consequences. This is Free Talk Live. If you disagree, be sure to give us a call and let us know. That's 855-450-3733, 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live, or use the Discord server at discord.lrn.fm.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
If you feel you've been lied to, pressured, or misled into buying your timeshare, you have the right to cancel completely. This is Steve Sanchez, and I'd like to introduce you to Wesley Financial Group, the leading top-rated timeshare cancellation company in the country. That's right, no more excessive fees or lifetime commitments that make you feel like you're serving a prison sentence. Founded by CEO Chuck McDowell, a pioneer in the industry who went into federal court and won against the largest timeshare resort company in the world just to help you get out of your timeshare. Too good to be true? No. Countless testimonials and the highest ratings from the Better Business Bureau make Wesley Financial Group the real deal, and their money-back guarantee they put in writing makes them the Steve Sanchez choice for successfully canceling your timeshare guaranteed. To get their free information kit, call 1-800-475-1919. That's 1-800-475-1919, or visit them at timesharecancellations.com. That's 1-800-475-1919.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love,
and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Take control of the airways. Let us know what's on your mind. 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And it's Memorial Day, and we barely got into it, but Mark, you have a story regarding veteran suicides and how they are generally ignored in wider American society, and somebody attempting to rectify that.
The Buffalo News' Sean Kirst reports a half a century is enough to extinguish many memories, images blurring into colors and echoes, but Casimiro Rodriguez can still reach into childhood and find his big brother. In a family of 13 children, Gabriel was older by 7 years, one of a group of Rodriguez boys who slept in one big room. It's probably child abuse now. Within that close bond.
I hope not.
Well, pretty close. Within that close bond, there's something special about Gabe. I looked up to him, said Rodriguez, 64, president of the Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York. Gabe helped teach him how to make a few dollars for the family by shining shoes or shoveling snow. Rodriguez recalls his teenage brother walking downtown night after night to wash dishes at the old Statler when they lived on the west side. In 1968, Gabe, a joyous guy with a passion for cars, left for the Army in Vietnam. The young man who returned was deeply changed. In retrospect, Rodriguez knows his brother was showing signs of mental illness and post-traumatic stress disorder.
Did he leave of his own accord, or was he drafted?
Well,
I mean, that's a critical piece of that, because the draft makes it even worse.
Okay, so it's hard to say because you were probably going to go, so some people signed up before they got drafted, too.
Yeah, good point.
It's difficult to know. Basically, I consider everybody who signs up before the draft was eliminated to be a draftee. And
fair point.
I mean, it's at that point, it's not a volunteer army. It's a, it's a conscripted army, because even if only half of the people are conscripted that are in the army, you can't say others aren't in a conscripted army, because that army functions the way the population within it sort of feels and functions. So if there's somebody in there who's not giving their all because they don't want to be there, then why do you want to be in that army in the first place?
Well, I certainly wouldn't want to be, but that's the problem with the draft, is that it removes one's wants from the question entirely.
12 years?
It's here's a gun, now go, or we throw you in prison for the rest of your life. Hope you make it back in one piece, in sound mind and body. You won't, but hope for it.
12 years later, Gabe locked himself in a car and took his own life through carbon monoxide poisoning. The loss remains so fresh that Rodriguez weeps to speak of it, but he will tell the tale again Monday during 9:30 a.m. Memorial Day ceremonies. That's today, and the USS Little Rock on the USS Little Rock at the Buffalo and Erie County Naval and Military Park, just before he helps unveil an extraordinary memorial called "The Battle Within." The riverfront sculpture is intended to serve as a remembrance of veterans who died by suicide and a means of hope for men and women facing similar despair. Gabe's widow and grandchildren are expected to attend, bring the flesh and blood of one of the deepest meanings. Families whose losses for too long were confined to the shadows finally have a place to grieve for veterans who took their own lives. And I think that so many times when people are here on Memorial Day is not for veterans, and veterans know it. It's these lamos that think that every holiday is Flag Day. That's not what it is.
Well, what is it then?
Well, Memorial Day is specifically for the fallen who died in military service, and I think that these people who end up taking their own lives because of whatever the demons are that they manage to find out there. Well, I think they deserve whatever credit these other folks that managed to get themselves blown up in silly situations too, unfortunate situations. And I really think the best way to serve the fallen is to make fewer and fewer of them over time.
I would absolutely agree.
Right.
I mean, the best thing we can do to support the troops is to stop sending them to foreign countries to be traumatized, maimed, and killed.
And I think that the troops agree. Ron Paul ran on a platform of, let's get us out of these military situations. And he was the most supported presidential candidate by enlisted people across the board.
Yeah, it was like 5 times higher than anyone else, right?
It was. There's not even close, and you don't have to say enlisted people either as officers. You include officers in that number because they're probably not that many of them compared to the enlisted men anyway. But people in the military wanted Ron Paul, and none of the Republican talking heads ever wanted to talk about that. They're all about support the troops, but when the troops have an opinion, well, let's forget about that. This guy's quixotic. He's nuts or whatever. And I'm sure the troops will probably come out to support the more anti-war Democrat that happens to emerge, whomever that is. Yeah. Maybe it'll be Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know. She doesn't seem to be. She's not as anti-war as I'd like her to be. But
anti-war at all, though, would be a vast improvement over the last forever.
Right.
Really.
If you find whomever the Republicans are, whatever field it is, and you ask them, do you support the wars of the last 20 or 30 years? And their answer is going to be 100% yes. Yes, 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 yes. Because they get that the voting population doesn't really understand what the people in the military actually want. If the voting population understood what people in the military wanted, I don't think that they would be as pro-war as they are. But somehow, in modern society, support the troops and support the war has become collapsed.
Well, wouldn't it be the case that in the current environment where there isn't a draft actually being utilized, wouldn't it be the case that, I mean, obviously a lot of them probably have buyer's remorse and things like that, but these people can choose to simply not enlist if they don't approve of the way that they're being used in their military service. Of course, if the contract is actually 8 years, I assumed it was something closer to 2 years. Finding out.
Right. There's several different options. So 8 years, but it's usually 4 years in and then 4 years in active ready reserve. Okay. There's a few little tricks that go on in the business. First off, you go in the military, here I am. I'm going to sign up for the military today. And they'll tell you, well, son, you go ahead and tell us the 3 things you'd really like to do in the military.
Oh, yeah, they're salesmen, and they're liars.
Well, that's what they're told to do. You can sign up and say, I'm only doing this particular task. And if you don't have that task, don't put me in. And they'll just kind of wait and put you in when the time comes. They do have that option if they wish to do it. They don't wish to do it because very few people say, I'd like to go in the military, carry an empty gun around, and sleep in the mud. Nobody says that.
No, I can't imagine anyone ever saying that.
Right. So, but that's the job opening. The job opening is carrying around empty guns.
Are they empty?
In many cases, they are. Sure.
Really?
I mean, they don't give you weapons, and they don't give teenagers weapons until they absolutely have to. They don't actually. They're just an empty gun.
So they get to wander around with a fancy-looking paperweight.
Yes.
A scary-looking paperweight.
And keep it very clean as they possibly can. And so it's
all pomp and circumstance.
Well, it's a lot of that, yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that either.
Well, there's a lot to learn about the old military, and I've learned it by talking to people over time. And I don't want to disparage the folks that go into the military, but I think a lot of them have been tricked. I think that they expected one thing and got something entirely different. And I think the vast majority of them do leave after their first bit. And if they had the option to quit, at least some option to quit. I'm not saying that there's a firefight going on with the Taliban and you just I'm throwing up my little white flag here, time for me to go home. I'm sick of this. But if there was some way to go to the commanding officer, there is, by the way, but you just have to be very, 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 very adamant about it.
Or trans.
Yeah, you could start. Well, it didn't work for Klinger.
It'll work now.
Okay.
Did they pass that? I know he said he was going to do it, but I thought he never actually.
The last I heard, you were not allowed in the military if you're trans. Which is great to me. I don't think we should allow anyone in the military. Don't get me wrong. I applaud it. Let's not let white people in or black people in or brunettes or redheads or anyone else.
I don't want to see a system where we have to tell fibs about why you want to get out of the military. I just want to get out of the military, and that's what I want to do today. And maybe a path that takes 2 weeks or a month or something to finally get out, but a path. And I think that would solve a lot of problems.
855-450-3733.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at mypatriotsupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. mypatriotsupply.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading around $1,280. Silver at $14.50. And Bitcoin is trading around $7,891. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the worst fears of Julian Assange's legal team have been realized. The Mind Unleashed reports that the Department of Justice has unveiled a slate of new charges against Assange, including 17 new counts of violating the Espionage Act, stemming from his role in publishing the classified documents leaked by Chelsea Manning. In addition to significantly raising the punishment threshold from a maximum of 5.5 years under the previous indictment to the prospect of a death sentence for violating the Espionage Act, the new charges will raise serious First Amendment issues, as Assange will become the first journalist charged under the Espionage Act. According to the New York Times, the Obama administration considered bringing the Espionage Act charges against Assange, but balked because it didn't want to raise the Fifth Amendment issue. While WikiLeaks had warned of the possibility, they suspected that the United States would wait until Assange was on American soil before bringing Espionage Act-related charges. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Saudi-led coalition's war on Yemen shows little sign of dwindling. And now, over 4 years after it began, its borders are increasingly fluid, as Yemen's Houthi movement increasingly takes the fight to Saudi Arabia's soil. Minpress News reports that last Monday, the Houthis announced that amid increasingly grim prospects for peace, they would begin a campaign to target 300 vital Saudi-led coalition military and economic targets, including military headquarters and facilities inside Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, as well as Saudi-led coalition military targets inside Yemen. The fourth attack in the 300-target blitz came Thursday, when Yemen's army, loyal to Houthis, launched a drone strike against a U.S.-made Saudi Patriot air defense system at the Najran Regional Airport in southern Saudi Arabia. The airport lies 840 kilometers southwest of Riyadh, near the Saudi-Yemen border, and has been targeted twice in several days. Western Europe is home to a cluster of developed economies that boost some of the highest standards of living in the world. But that could soon change. The Mind Unleashed, citing NBC News, says that IQ scores in France, Scandinavia, Britain, Germany, and even Australia are beginning to decline. The trend has been well documented across Western Europe and could soon carry over to the United States. The data, simply put, means the world is getting dumber. Possible explanations for the drop include the rise of smartphones and other devices, which have worn away the ability to focus, the rise of lower skill service work that isn't as intellectually stimulating, and less nutritious food. Whatever the cause, the trend seems to portend a decline in long-term productivity and economic success, factors that have long been correlated with IQ. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
According to a report released this week, people who paint themselves silver and pretend to be statues earn, on average, $10 million per year. The Onion sat down with economist Mark Cosgrave to learn more about the money-making potential of this highly lucrative employment path.
There's no more profitable career at the moment. If you compare these positions to other high-paying jobs, say physicians or mechanical engineers, you'll find that those individuals who have outfitted themselves with silver-painted boxes and can move their limbs stiffly as if they were a robot are making literally hundreds of times as much. At this point, I would say that the only job that offers anywhere near that kind of earning potential is dressing up like Batman and allowing people to pose for photos with you. And those guys who play paint buckets like drums have historically done well for themselves. But honestly, the recession hit these professions pretty hard, and a lot of them are only making something like $800,000 a year at this point. It's barely even worth their time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airways. It's 855-450-3733, 855-450-FREE as in freedom. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And let's put the discussion of Memorial Day and the tragedy that is vet suicide on hold and go to the phone. We've got Sarah calling from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, yeah, I just want to say that there's another neighborhood along Central Boulevard here.
Where's here?
Who wants to widen the sidewalk? And,
this is Albuquerque. Just so everybody knows, this is Albuquerque. Sarah calls in about Albuquerque almost every day. It's very likely that she's going to talk about pedestrian fatalities in Albuquerque. Maybe, like cars coming up on sidewalks or something like that. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, so it's the historic Route 66, but
I love
what
that.
it is that, well, it's it's two cars going one way and two cars going the other way, and then
so it's a 4-lane highway.
So, and then the sidewalks here are 4 feet. I'm telling you, and it's no bicycle lane.
Are there
shops? Right up against the street.
Are there shops that are like right next to those 4 feet? So it's like shop wall, 4 feet of sidewalk, then 2-lane.
And then there's cars right next to the pedestrian. That's what I was talking about the other day.
Hold on. Sarah, answer my question. I'm trying to determine whether there's anything on the other side of the sidewalk. So is it like a shop wall, then 4 feet of sidewalk, and then the road, these 2 lanes, and then the other 2 lanes, and then 4 feet of sidewalk, and then another shop wall? Or is there any room for expansion?
Oh, the walls, it all depends. If there's a business, sometimes it's like the walls are right up against it depends if they have an apartment or a business, and the walls are right there.
Okay.
But most of the time, sometimes it'll be gravel, there's space on the inside of the sidewalk. But on the outside, it's just cars. You might have like 2 or 3 feet.
So is there contention that the sidewalks are too close to the road? Are you okay with them being expanded? What is your position on this?
The whole point is that they're going to widen the sidewalk and put in a bicycle lane, and therefore they're going to lose. It's going to go from 4-car lanes to 2-car lanes. And so they have to go slower. This is what the neighborhood is pushing.
All right.
But
well, it sounds like it would cause, fewer pedestrian fatalities.
Yeah, it seems like seems like a fine idea to me. Whatever.
It's better for pedestrians.
I don't know. I've never seen the place.
And then we're going to have the Zaxter scooters. They could ride on the bicycle lane.
Okay.
Instead of all of us. That's what I was saying. That pedestrian, bicycle, and the Zaxters will be all riding on that 4-feet sidewalk.
You really missed your calling, Sarah. You should have been a civil engineer and planned all this stuff from the beginning. And here you are. I mean, the talent's been wasted.
110 years ago, I should have been born like 1900. So when they designed the road, I have no idea who designed a road like this.
Well, roads are always being designed and redesigned. It's not terribly uncommon for a city or local government to decide that they want to redo a road, so they pull up the 4-lane highway and put A2 down in its place. But you're saying they're widening the sidewalk, which is currently 4 feet, to accommodate more pedestrian traffic, more scooter traffic, and more bicycle traffic, right? So what is the end result of this going to be, an 8-foot wide sidewalk or larger?
Well, I have something between 6 to 7 feet, so that if and then it's going to have a bicycle lane, maybe 3 feet, so the scooters can ride on the bicycle lane, maybe if they could fit. And
I thought you said they were getting rid of these. Okay, so they're just opening up the sidewalk as well to bicycles and scooters.
Right. Well, I mean, the bicycles, they have to ride. The scooters and the bicycle have to ride on the sidewalk. There is nowhere else to go.
Well,
until sidewalk and a car right next to it.
Unless this guy on a scooter careens into a few pedestrians, and the pedestrians will never learn. So, I mean, that's what we just got to do, Sarah.
I mean, Payne is a pretty good teacher. Sarah, thank you so much for the call.
You want to be progressive? Scooters, progress.
I'm a bit confused by what's happening here. We have people skateboarding and riding bikes along sidewalks here in Keene, and I'm not aware of too many people being run over by other people on bicycles or scooters. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen anyone riding a scooter down the sidewalk.
I mean, that's going to be totally dependent on. I can't really have an opinion on a sidewalk and a road that I've never seen, don't know where it is, don't know what the population's like, don't know what the density's like. How could I possibly just design the optimal setup in my head? Without even
Sarah doesn't care what you design in your head. It doesn't matter.
I don't know how anybody listening can have an opinion on it either.
The only thing that matters is, does it lower pedestrian fatalities?
Well, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter either.
Unless the cars are driving up onto the sidewalk.
You know, that's only a $50 fine here.
What's that, hitting a pedestrian on a scooter?
No, driving on the sidewalk. It's only a $50 fine.
Yeah, I looked it up when I was looking up something else. Tinted
free.
windows is a higher fine than driving on the sidewalk. Straight up driving down a sidewalk is $50.
I tend to think you're more likely to get arrested, though, if driving on the sidewalk, because it's going to be really hard to justify.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean,
there's always a careless or reckless driving ticket too.
Yeah, that's true, and that was
they
certainly
just tack that on for kicks.
Yeah.
Look, we have told Sarah over and over again, read the studies to her about red light cameras and how red light cameras actually increase accidents at intersections, and she doesn't care. What Sarah cares about is whatever she imagines is dangerous on the road. Everything outside of the house is dangerous. And, she's very concerned now with the idea that people are going to be riding scooters around Albuquerque.
So she doesn't drive, correct?
No. She doesn't travel.
Well, she doesn't have
either.
to. She doesn't have a job.
So she just sits around calling talk radio shows all day?
She's never had a job.
She listens
I understand it.
She's basically banned from the vast majority of talk shows in her town because she calls every day. Then she finds out that she can call into Free Talk Live. And she's she's not our worst caller.
Oh, no, certainly not.
Well, okay, yeah, but that's compared to people who, make death threats against children and call in stoned. So,
I mean, that can be entertaining, though.
Yeah.
But, it is weird. I knew her initially as Galactose Sarah because she was always trying to market whatever it was, some sugar or something, I don't know. And then it just became Pedestrian Sarah, which is applicable in more way than one.
Yeah, pedestrian.
Yeah.
It's pedestrian.
So anyway, it is Memorial Day, and we've been talking about veteran suicides, and the number I saw earlier today was 6,000 vet suicides every year since 2008, which is about the time they started returning home from Operation Iraqi Freedom.
I don't know what the numbers were before that either. I haven't done exhaustive research into veteran suicide, but I do know that, PTSD cases go up when there are wars. You don't have don't have nearly as much PTSD when people aren't out there seeing their friends or, innocent, what are clearly innocent people being blown into little globby bits, which is what the military does. I mean, it's like the definition of what they do.
Yeah, that's its sole purpose, is to kill people.
And blow things up, cost a lot of money. There's all those things. And I feel like there's a group of people on Memorial Day that get forgotten about, swept under the rug. Everybody in the U.S. wants to be, thank you for your service. Well, you can't thank the ones who've committed suicide for their service. Those are the ones that we should be thinking, among others, that we should be thinking about on Memorial Day, it seems to me. Memorial Day is a day when you're there to remember, not that most people do this, most people are out there cooking hot dogs, right? We had hot dogs today at my house.
I mean, and in this case, we're remembering people who were so broken by what the military did to them and exposed them to that they saw no escape except death.
That's right. I mean, imagine being in whatever the position is, and the only way you feel like you can get out of it is by killing yourself. So, Lord knows what's happening inside the military that makes these people do it at a higher rate than everybody else, but they do.
855-450-3733. Let us know if you disagree. 855-450-FREE as in Free Talk Live.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20. I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehash stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise. Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, If you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. Tell us what's on your mind. Give us a call at 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. Or use the Discord servers, which you can find at discord.freetalklive.com. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. And it's coming right up, July the 17th through the 20th. At the Paris Hotel in Las Vegas. It's a great venue for a great festival. This year's event is the Wild West, time of liberty and opportunity, or lawlessness and violence. Penn Jillette's going to be there, Lenore Skenazy. I saw that Glenn Beck is going to be there, Candace Owen, John Mackey, Kevin O'Leary, Kevin Harrington and Kevin Harrington of Shark Tank, Stephen Moore, Grover Norquist, liberals, conservatives, libertarians, all mingling together to hear real debates and to converse freely. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL. Get your tickets now. It's freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50 and you get a $50 discount. So, even if you aren't even sure that you want to go to Freedom Fest, go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you can get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Judge Napolitano, Alan Dershowitz, Charlie Kirk, Heather McDonald, John Mackey, all free. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL. And it is a great event, and I may have a big announcement coming up with further involvement. We're going to be there, Free Talk Live, but there may be even more important involvement. Love to see you there at Freedom Fest, freedomfest.com/FTL.
Awesome. Let's go to the phones. We got Matthew calling in from Louisiana who wants to discuss the military. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live.
Mark, you're not going to be giving a talk?
Well, I am going to be giving a talk. At this point, I haven't determined exactly what that is. There's a couple of things that need to come into play, but I can whip up a speech relatively quickly. I kind of do that for a living.
Yeah, well, I've noticed this. I have, over the years, gotten increasingly skeptical about the use of our military. I mean,
skepticism is good?
Huh?
I said skepticism is good.
Right. I'm not a pacifist by any stretch of the imagination, but we are no longer willing to declare a group of people the enemy, and it's okay to kill their women and children. And I don't know that I feel okay with killing their women and children either. But in World War II, we did not spare the women and children.
Well, in World War I, they did, though. So, I get where you're coming from, but, the bombing, one of the worst parts about World War II is the sort of behind-the-lines bombing. And obviously you had to go after factories and things like that, but in World War I, most of the civilian deaths were perpetrated by the Germans, and they were vilified for it. The vast majority of the people that were killed during World War I were combatants. It's above 90% were people that were in the military. And obviously it's a different time and different things going on, but I kind of agree with you. Let's see if I can articulate what I would say here. I would say, yes, I am a pacifist, because what that means to me is that the military should not be engaged in a conflict unless it's absolutely necessary.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't pacifism just an outright refusal to defend oneself?
I think that there's different definitions of it in the same way that there's different definitions of democracy. We can discuss that in a second. But I'm going to go ahead and use the term pacifism as sort of as a stand-in for non-aggression.
Okay.
But here's my contention. Now, I agree with you. The problem is that we will receive repeated provocations to draw us in, and then the enemy, and we're pretty sure we know who it is going to hide behind women and children.
Yep.
So the only way to get to them is
to shoot through the women and children. I would rather just not shoot them.
Shooting through them usually ends their life.
Yes.
Most of the time, 9 out of 10 doctors declare being shot through will kill you.
Well, so and I think that there is a difference, not that and I'm going to go ahead and not have an opinion on combat strategy, and maybe that's a cop-out and maybe it isn't. I don't know. But I will say there's a difference between targeting non-combatants and collateral damage.
Well, the problem, what do you do, Melanie, when the enemy knows you don't want to kill their women and children and places them up in front of their warfighter?
Right, but I'm saying there's a difference between that, which I would classify as collateral damage, and targeting non-combatants.
See, I would categorize both of them as targeting non-combatants.
Worldwide news media will pillory us, will make those soldiers who had to do that.
Well, because they didn't have to.
Well, yeah, the media's going to lie regardless of what you do, so I kind of just don't care what they think.
I mean, it's murder of innocent people. Let's stop being euphemistic about it, and let's be honest. We're talking about murdering innocent people in order to shoot someone who we have decreed to be bad.
Let me ask you a question. The vast majority of the Japanese people approved of the war until the sky became filled with B-29 bombers. This meant their women and children approved of the war.
Is that is that the Doolittle raid, or are we talking about the dropping of the bombs?
Later on, no, not the atomic bombs. I'm talking about the firebombing of Japanese cities.
Okay.
Specifically Tokyo. We firebombed them as fast as they could rebuild it. And
World War II was a period of total war. That's why we have the phrase
also wasn't a democracy
war.
in Japan. So,
no, it certainly was. So it really didn't matter what the women and children thought.
Well, but even if you're not a democracy, you still can't have
in name only in Japan.
So you still can't have just
have a vote.
Every single citizen, or whatever you're going to call them, being completely opposed to you to the point that they would rather kill you in your sleep than go along with whatever the law is. Democracy or not, you can't have that as a leader and stay the leader.
Right, it's not just democratic governments that need the mass support of their people. It's all governments at the end of the day.
Well, okay, so we've decided to focus on Japan in World War II, which is a nice place to go if you're looking to support war, because it turned out pretty well. Like they kind of turned around at the end, and they like us.
And it actually turned out well for the Japanese as well.
Well, yeah, there's good arguments for all that. There's a lot better arguments out there for non-aggression, but let's go ahead and take this one. The United States could have, had it chosen, the B-29s you're referring to, dropping stuff on, civilians and that kind of thing. They'd run out of military targets, and they were more or less just targeting civilians. They could have just sat out and waited. Japan couldn't leave. It was all bottled up. It couldn't go anywhere or do anything. And sooner or later, they were already looking to Russia for peace. And by that, I mean they were trying to get the Russians to come to us for peace, because the Russians were on the United States side at the time. And they had actually,
more or less.
Yeah, they had asked for a let's see, they'd asked for surrender, a conditional surrender, but the United States demanded an unconditional surrender. Right. Now, the condition that they'd asked for
was to keep their emperor.
The United States said unconditional and then let them keep the emperor. Here's my theory.
Because it was our call in that case.
The United States chose to bomb Nagasaki and Hiroshima to show the Soviet Union that they had these weapons. This was, that those people died as a demonstration to Moscow.
Stick with us, Matthew. Give us a call if you disagree. That number is 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE is in Free Talk Live.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid rich, full spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
Be sure to give us a call at 855-450-3733 and let us know what's on your mind. Speaking of stuff being on people's mind, Mark, you look like something's on your mind.
Yeah, Bitcoin.com is on my mind. They're a sponsor of Free Talk Live and have been for many years, and I love them. I think they're the best place to go if you want to find out more about cryptocurrencies generally. Bitcoin.com should be your first stop. They have beginner videos that explain what cryptocurrency is, how you can get it. They make it easy for you. They provide you with the apps to hold cryptocurrency. They will sell it to you. They give some away for free at free.bitcoin.com. Whether you're interested in Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin or many of the other cryptocurrencies out there, you should be stopping off at Bitcoin.com. You get the latest news or engage with the community in their forums at Bitcoin.com, and soon they're launching local.bitcoin.com, which is going to allow you to purchase Bitcoin within your community. And just go check them out at Bitcoin.com. And by the way, that's Bitcoin Cash in your community because that's the one that you're able to buy, sell, and trade with so much more easily. Bitcoin.com.
I'm looking forward to the launch of local.bitcoin.com. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
We've needed it for a very long time, so kudos to Roger Ver for putting that into existence. Let's go back to the phones. We've got Bad Slave calling in. Bad Slave, what's on your mind? You're on Free Talk Live.
Well, I was going to talk about Sarah, but I'm going to talk about the military, about politics, and about why we get into war, and the fact that we have not actually been legitimately attacked, other than
well, not since like 1811 or something along those lines, right?
Right. I mean, they set up the attack with both 9/11 and the Pearl Harbor before that.
I don't know if I would want to go that far.
What do you mean set it up?
Well, I'm saying that they knew in the Pacific that the Japanese were going to attack Pearl Harbor days before it actually occurred.
Well, that's very different than a setup.
Yeah, that's allowing it to happen.
No, I mean, they interfered with information getting to the Pacific Fleet to do anything about it so that there would be a surprise attack.
Right, but that's highly negligent.
That was perpetrated by FDR and his administration. And as you know, that's kind of
but nothing you're describing is set up.
Right. Well, there's evidence that in the McCullough memo, that's the way to look at that. There's evidence that that they knew what was going to happen and they let it happen.
There was more than that,
and that's and setup is close to that. It may not be exactly the same thing. There's also it's indisputable that. Was it the FBI attempted to tell the CIA or vice versa that the attacks on 9/11 were going to occur? And, well, somehow somebody didn't do something about it.
Right. Well, and there's no argument there. So I don't know what we're discussing about the.
Well, the difference between allowing something and directly causing something.
Just want to make sure we're clear.
But a setup is a setup. A setup means you put things in place.
I see what you're saying. It may have been a setup, indeed, but it certainly was not set up by FDR and his administration.
There was actually impetus to anger the Japanese about oil and about all kinds of stuff in the South China Sea and things that were going on that were deliberately aggravating the Japanese, and because FDR wanted his power play. I mean, the fact is that we suspend our disbelief way too much. I mean, it's okay to go and watch a movie, to suspend the disbelief so you can enjoy the movie, right? But when you suspend your disbelief of politics, everybody seems to have no problem with understanding that the fact of lying politicians, lying people who
I think it's expected. I think that people
decide this stuff are going to just keep doing that as long as we consent to it.
Right.
I mean, whether or not we consent to it.
It's a lack of responsibility. I mean, at every point.
At every level.
Voters aren't responsible because we don't have to pay for it. We're going to have our great-grandchildren pay for it. We're paying the debt on the Civil War currently, so what's the big deal?
That's why we invented cryptocurrency.
Well, the fact is that the wars that are fought for completely different reasons.
Well, they're fought for military expansion and imperialism.
There is imperialism. There is the global bank system. That's been the more recent.
But see, that's just part of the imperialism. What the First World War and the Second World War was actually about was imperialism. It was the Western world deciding who was going to divide up and control the rest of the world. And it was a war that ultimately, for better or worse, the United States won. So we put all of the banks into place. We put the military into place. That's why we hated the Soviet Union so much, was because they were a threat to our own imperialism. What we're seeing today is just a continuation of that.
Well, there was the effectiveness of the threat of the Soviet Union, came to true fruition, as time went on, and that was a collapse that didn't even require a war. I mean, other than
there were multiple wars.
Words. There were, leading up to that point. But
there was the Korean War, there was the War of Vietnam.
That the Soviet Union just came into being just at the First World War. So, I mean, it hasn't been that long. And there were,
Well, a lot of people died.
Up to that point.
A lot of people
but
died
the point
under the notion. Go ahead.
Well, we're dealing with, this false premise of what actually causes this stuff, and as long as we're accepting these false premises, I mean, the data is out there.
What are the false premises that you're asserting people accept?
Well, that we needed to go into Libya because what, Gaddafi? We needed to go into Iraq, what, because of Saddam? We needed to go into,
well, I'm not sure, anyone, even the most diehard Republicans, actually accept those reasonings.
Actually, in 53,
I'm not at all sure that anyone actually accepts that we needed to take out Saddam or Gaddafi or even Assad. I think that it's just a convenient excuse for them to put forward to people.
Well, at the time they accepted. I was in support of the Iraq War when they were trotting out all this stuff. They got me, they had me at that point. I wasn't the libertarian that I am today. Those people are building a nuclear weapon? Our government says, Colin Powell says so? All right, I guess we're going to have to do something about it.
Fair point, but they lied to you.
Yes.
Right?
Right. It's always, I guess that's a false premise, but I probably supported every war that was up to that point. And now I'm against the next one, too, whatever it is. Whatever it is that they're going to trot out, I already know that the lies are going to occur. How do we get that, instill that in the young people's minds? Because those are the ones, they're not looking for a 48-year-old guy to go out there and carry a weapon and fight anymore. It's the young people that need to be told that the government's going to lie to you about the next war. I swear to God.
855-450-FREE as in freedom.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTL50. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50 for a discount.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens. We support the amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Jeunesse products are designed by leading doctors in their field with natural ingredients and even stem cell technology. These products help your body perform and look better. Shop Jeunesse at gcnlife.com or call 1-844-443-6637. gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
There is no such thing as attention span, according to Jerry Seinfeld, who figures that people have an infinite attention span if you are entertaining them. Hey, he's kept us from channel surfing for several decades, and now he's making more millions as a Las Vegas headliner. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're looking for work. So choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Avoid redundancies such as added bonus, advance warning, end result, prior history, or personal belongings. And avoid cliches like the plague. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
There are basically 2 types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio is great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airways. Let us know what's on your mind. It's 855-450-3733 or 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And there is interesting stuff going on. Mark, why don't you tell us about it?
Well, I want to tell you about the AMP program at amp.freetalklive.com. If you go to amp.freetalklive.com, you can do as Juggaloken has done and amp the program. you can support us in our mission to bring the ideas of liberty to as many people as we possibly can, to spread the ideas far and wide. And we're on more than 200 radio stations now, and that's thanks to the amplifiers who've supported us, many of them for years. amp.freetalklive.com gives you the opportunity to help us reach more people. Also, consequently, we also give people the opportunity to speak that would never be heard otherwise. If you think that's valuable, well, go to amp.freetalklive.com. I believe those are the things we bring to the world. And if you think those things are valuable, then a little bit of support will help us bring more of it. amp.freetalklive.com.
Now, Craig Wright is a lunatic, it would seem. At least that's my perspective of the issue.
People need to know who Craig Wright is.
Yeah, for those who are... The first time I ever heard his name was just a few weeks ago when he was trying to sue Roger Ver for saying that he wasn't Satoshi, for calling him a fraud, essentially. Yes. Now, there is a lot of contention about who Satoshi Nakamoto, the person who wrote the Bitcoin white paper, mined the Genesis block and the first, 60-ish of the first 70 blocks. I don't recall off the top of my head exactly how it went down, but nobody knows who this person was.
Right, there's this character. That character is called Satoshi Nakamoto, and he or she or whomever it is, it's a pseudonym. We know that much for certain. Not actually a Satoshi Nakamoto, although there is some poor Japanese professor that's been chased around whose name is Satoshi Nakamoto.
Wow.
That's probably not him. Highly unlikely to be him. He says it is not him and just wishes that most people would leave him alone. But he probably has more eyes on his work than he ever had before. So maybe with some joy, he is annoyed that people are looking at his work. But anyway, Satoshi Nakamoto is this character that basically created cryptocurrency and is credited with this. And everybody wants to know who it is.
Well, and Craig Wright wants everyone to know, or at least to believe, that it's he is Satoshi Nakamoto, to the extent where he's falsified information, at least appears to have just copied the first, I think it was 70 public addresses that were ever mining Bitcoin and claimed to ownership of them, even though one of the people who actually owned the addresses came forward and said, hey, actually, this is mine. You seem to have just copied and pasted this information from blockchain.info. And he doesn't really seem to know the inner workings of cryptocurrency, judging from things like that.
Yeah, because you could just go get any public address. You're not going to necessarily know who it belongs to.
Right.
But public addresses are public.
Right. I could find out what your address is. You could go to, tip.freetalklive.com or bitcoin.freetalklive.com. There are addresses right there. You could go click through, look at all the information about that address, and then claim that address is yours if you wanted to. But we could demonstrate that it isn't. And I think this is highly important when talking about Craig Wright.
Yeah.
If Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto, Craig Wright could move one Bitcoin from one of the Genesis wallets to another Genesis wallet, the Genesis blocks, one of the early blocks to the another one of the early block wallets, wherever these things are kept, and prove indisputably that he is Satoshi Nakamoto. All he would have to do, all I would have to do, is go on the radio right now and say, I am, in fact, Satoshi Nakamoto, and I will prove it tomorrow around noon Eastern Time, sometime between noon and 1 p.m., I am going to move one Bitcoin from one of these early wallets to another one of these early wallets. And that should indisputably prove it, right? It won't be indisputable, but...
No, it would be
if that
very
happens.
close, though.
A lot of people would be paying a lot of attention as to whether or not I was Satoshi Nakamoto at that point. It's also worth pointing out that many of these early wallets, the coins have never moved. They've just stayed there in those early wallets. And if Craig Wright has the power to move those, now maybe it's possible to lose the keys for a wallet. I did that. We lost some Bitcoin as a result, and lots of people have. So it's possible that Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto and can't do this. But if he's Satoshi Nakamoto and did do this, it would be indisputable that he was.
I think that the biggest piece of evidence that he is not Satoshi Nakamoto is that he is claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto.
Right.
You would have to either be a Fed or straight up crazy insane to make that claim. If they ever find this guy, whoever he really is, they're going to kill him.
That's
Satoshi Nakamoto could very
true.
well be killed. Yeah.
What I did not know was that he is the reason that Bitcoin SV came into existence.
Oh, yes.
And that SV is supposed to
Satoshi's
stand
vision
for,
is what it stands for.
Satoshi's vision.
And he made all these ludicrous claims that he was going to somehow take down Bitcoin Cash and then take down Bitcoin and do all kinds of things.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
Right. I mean, I don't even know what to call him. I mean, like he's like Hitler without the military. Just talking yickety yakety, and still people believe this guy is Satoshi Nakamoto. There are people out there that still believe that.
I mean, the evidence that he's not is, and obviously it's not our job to prove that he's not Satoshi Nakamoto, but the evidence that he isn't is pretty substantial at this point.
The evidence that he is all that's important. Craig Wright, if he wishes to be considered Satoshi Nakamoto, needs to present evidence, not yickety yak. Until then, he's a lunatic.
But he's never been able to produce any evidence.
Not enough.
Only, I wasn't aware of him producing any whatsoever.
He's done a few sort of potential sleight of hand tricks. So very early on, Gavin Andreessen, the former head developer of Bitcoin, met Craig Wright, and I think it was in the UK. And Craig Wright did this sort of magic show where he pulls out a brand new computer that they went to the store and bought, and said, I'm going to, sign the documents, sign a, whatever in some manner. And he convinced Gavin that he was the only, that he had this ability to do this. And if he had the ability to do it, he would be the only one who was able to do it. Now, Gavin isn't some kind of forensic IP specialist or whatever. I don't even know the terms for this. Gavin's, was the former head developer of Bitcoin. He's an expert, but not a specific expert. And Gavin has acknowledged, oh, I got tricked. I mean, I've gotten tricked before, too.
I mean, we all have.
And, it just takes a big person to say, well, yeah, I got fooled.
So Craig Wright has been making this claim for quite a while. That he's Satoshi.
Years.
Going back years.
Yeah, to the point, I believe the Australian government is looking into his finances because they want the money, right? Satoshi Nakamoto is rich.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Very, very rich. Well, he may not be using that wealth, but he is rich if he's alive and has control of those keys.
Right. Now, isn't there the leading theory among people who know this particular subject is that the real Satoshi was a person, and they think it's probably this guy who died a number of years ago?
That's who I think it is. But, it could, I don't know.
Right. It could be literally anyone.
There is a guy that was considered to be the second guy into Bitcoin. And I don't know his name off the top of my head. I've known it before, and I've been able to rattle it off. But at this moment in time, it escapes me. And that guy had some kind of debilitating disease, ended up looking like, here's another name that's escaping me. Stephen Hawking, right? He's just a mess. He was in terrible pain, and he passed away a few years ago. And
tragic.
I would presume at some point his wife's going to want to cash in those coins, those early coins. But maybe he told her, just leave them alone, honey. I don't know. Maybe there's just going to be some time between now and then. I don't know what the plan is, but I think
we may certainly never know.
I think that Satoshi Nakamoto is a small group of people, probably 3, and that guy was one of them. So
that seems to be more likely than that it was just one individual. It does seem more likely to think that it was probably 2 or 3 people. But Craig Wright wants you to believe that it was him, and in order to facilitate that belief, he has now copyrighted the Bitcoin white paper. And Melanie, I assume you know more about copywriting things like this than any of us. So when we get back, don't go anywhere. 855-450-3733.
I'm going to copyright toilet paper in the break.
Good luck, Mark.
Warning.
If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5759. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5759. That's 1-800-959-5759. 1-800-959-5759.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading around $1,280. Silver at $14.50. And Bitcoin is trading around $7,891. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the worst fears of Julian Assange's legal team have been realized. The Mind Unleashed reports that the Department of Justice has unveiled a slate of new charges against Assange, including 17 new counts of violating the Espionage Act, stemming from his role in publishing the classified documents leaked by Chelsea Manning. In addition to significantly raising the punishment threshold from a maximum of 5.5 years under the previous indictment to the prospect of a death sentence for violating the Espionage Act, the new charges will raise serious First Amendment issues, as Assange will become the first journalist charged under the Espionage Act. According to the New York Times, the Obama administration considered bringing the Espionage Act charges against Assange, but balked because it didn't want to raise the Fifth Amendment issue. While WikiLeaks had warned of the possibility, they suspected that the United States would wait until Assange was on American soil before bringing Espionage Act-related charges. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Saudi-led coalition's war on Yemen shows little sign of dwindling. And now, over 4 years after it began, its borders are increasingly fluid, as Yemen's Houthi movement increasingly takes the fight to Saudi Arabia's soil. Minpress News reports that last Monday, the Houthis announced that amid increasingly grim prospects for peace, they would begin a campaign to target 300 vital Saudi-led coalition military and economic targets, including military headquarters and facilities inside Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, as well as Saudi-led coalition military targets inside Yemen. The fourth attack in the 300-target blitz came Thursday, when Yemen's army, loyal to Houthis, launched a drone strike against a U.S.-made Saudi Patriot air defense system at the Najran Regional Airport in southern Saudi Arabia. The airport lies 840 kilometers southwest of Riyadh, near the Saudi-Yemen border, and has been targeted twice in several days. Western Europe is home to a cluster of developed economies that boost some of the highest standards of living in the world. But that could soon change. The Mind Unleashed, citing NBC News, says that IQ scores in France, Scandinavia, Britain, Germany, and even Australia are beginning to decline. The trend has been well documented across Western Europe and could soon carry over to the United States. The data, simply put, means the world is getting dumber. Possible explanations for the drop include the rise of smartphones and other devices, which have worn away the ability to focus, the rise of lower-skill service work that isn't as intellectually stimulating, and less nutritious food. Whatever the cause, the trend seems to portend a decline in long-term productivity and economic success, factors that have long been correlated with IQ. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Interesting new ad campaign from Applebee's, which is encouraging customers to visit the restaurant ironically.
They're designed to attract young people to Applebee's by inviting them to ridicule its food service and atmosphere. Here, take a look.
What do you guys want to do?
We could go to Applebee's. No, let's seriously go to Applebee's.
Okay.
Look, guys, it's grilled.
It's just like my neighborhood restaurant, only completely geographically not specific.
Yeah, nothing like a wild time at Applebee's, right?
Applebee's. Wouldn't it be funny to go to Applebee's?
I like
Isn't that
it.
persuasive?
Yeah.
But, they're not resting on their laurels. They're adding new menu items designed to be ridiculed outright, like the fajita cordon bleu and the chicken strip explosion.
Those sound ridiculous.
I know, but so far this has been so successful that Applebee's is actually prepping a second series of ads aimed at customers who enjoy making fun of annoying young people who do things ironically.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airways. Your toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And we've been laughing at Craig Wright and his Bitcoin SV, which did soar 90% after he copyrighted or filed for the copyright of the Bitcoin white paper. And as I understand it, the Patent Office of the United States doesn't actually look into the veracity of a claim when somebody files a copyright. But before we get further into it, let's go to the phones. We've got Lazio from New York. Lazio, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, thank you for having me. Hello, all.
Hello, what's on your mind?
I'm not at all connected with the Laszlo with the 10,000 bitcoins for the pizza recently. That's in the news.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Great guy, I guess. But and I like the name from the Real Genius movie with Val Kilmer from the 80s.
Not familiar with it. Sorry.
Remember the character Laszlo?
I'll take your word for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a very profound statement to make before I go into the libertarian issue and about God loves us all, and
is that the profound statement?
No.
Okay.
About live and let live, be and let be. I have cats. I have 2 cats. I've had them for about a decade now. And I was recently looking at one of them because they tend to kind of know how much equally I dole out the love to each of them. They seem to want to, spar with each other. So they don't necessarily hurt each other, but they always resort to that when I give each of them equal love.
Well, I mean, that's
And
cats. To be fair, cats love playing. I mean, to them it is play.
Even when it gets to the point, again, they're not hurting each other, but one always pins the other one down because he's bigger and he bites them little, and he, yelps, so they're indoor cats. So I said to both of them, as I'm looking at one of them, Daddy loves you. Why can't you love each other equally as Daddy loves you?
I feel like this is coming to an analogy. Is this the God loves you thing? Is that what we're talking about?
Think about it, yes.
Okay.
God loves you. Why can't you all love each other equally? You know what I mean?
I guess avarice would be the guess, but go ahead.
Yes. Okay. A bordertarian issue and open borders people. I think I have the great solution to it all. Think about this. How about a giant Panama Canal, 1,900 miles long between the borders?
Well,
why have a border though?
Dig it.
Where's the water going to come from?
About 100 feet deep, 20 miles wide, and 1,900 miles of sea. So you're solving 5 problems: the climate change alarmists.
How so?
You can lower the sea level.
Okay, there's
You
more
lower the
space for sea level.
Right.
Okay.
And you have all of the buildup of Acapulco along all of that area. They're 20 miles apart. Follow me? So you can build resort
how wide
cities.
is the canal again?
20 miles, he said.
As wide as you want. 10 miles, 20 miles.
It's wide.
I mean, why are we doing this at all, though? It is still my question.
A job works program.
It would be that.
It'll solve 5 problems at once. And it will give the people freedom to cross.
I need to hear the solutions.
Sounds like it's going to create a lot of problems.
So global. You said that it's going to help global warming with the sea levels, which I think is mitigable.
Right.
But, all right. What are the rest of the problems
I think
it solves?
global warming is a sham. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Next. Problem 1. You're solving. 2.
You're putting a lot of people to work. You have 1,900 miles.
All right.
To dig.
A government program to get people to work. All right. 2.
Yay, more malaria
Probably
deaths.
both sides, right? You're creating resort cities all along both borders.
I don't know that I'm entirely going to disagree with that. I think people would like this. If you can get the water to wash through there, there'll need to be a system of pumps. But yeah, I mean, at this point, whatever.
Well, no. Yes, Mark, but not as a canal though. As the ocean itself.
There's no canal that's ever been like this. I mean, this is a heck of a canal.
I'm not trying to create a canal. I'm trying to create more ocean. Is what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying?
I see it.
You're not going to create more ocean by digging a hole.
Sorry again, Melanie?
You're not going to create more ocean by digging a hole, which is what you're describing, digging a 20 foot by...
Think about it.
Well, I mean, logically, it does... I mean, simplistically, it does seem like that would work.
Go ahead.
But it isn't actually that simple in the real world. And I think that's where the disconnect is.
It's not simple to do. Obviously not. It's like a great job works program.
I mean, this would make the Great Pyramids look like nothing.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes.
Who's going to pay for this?
You are you?
I am not paying for this.
No, not the taxpayers. I don't want. No. This is a voluntarist kind of thing.
Who's going to do it then?
Make both sides happy.
How are you going to get the land? Because people do own land on the border on both sides.
That I haven't thought through, Melanie. Please, can you help me? I thought through a lot of it, but not.
Well, I would just be in favor of not stealing a hell of a lot of land. I mean, that would be my solution.
I mean, you would have to buy the land from
them. That land was
them.
previously allocated, and a lot of the Rio Grande is considered kind of half of the Rio Grande is Mexico and half of it is Texas, right?
Okay, well, that's one river in one spot. You're talking about all the land on the border for 20 feet or 20 miles. Yeah.
No, go 100 feet deep or more, but go 20 miles wide.
Yeah, so 20
you
miles
have
on
this
either
big-
side of the border, that's a lot of land that's owned by a lot of different people.
That's true. I haven't. Thank you. I mean, please think about it. Help me.
Well, my solution
I can only
is
come up with
don't
so much.
steal it. Like, I mean, I don't want this program, so I don't have a solution to fix it. I don't think it needs to be fixed.
Think about all of the work that would provide for people on both sides of the border.
Well, I mean, we could just have them dig a hole and then refill in that hole. That creates work too.
Well, that's my point about the climate change alarmists. You shut them up.
Well,
you don't have to worry about sea
But you don't
level
believe
rising.
in
We got
climate
the answer.
change.
It would put the United States in a nice position because it'd be in charge of a canal that would be presumably, if this could be done. I don't even know if this is
only on their
possible.
half of the side, because then it would be divided down the half.
It
or,
may be easier to
Mexico
make
would
a
have
moon
half the
colony than to do this. I don't know.
So we would have to split the bill with Mexico since half of it is going to belong to them, right?
Or the whole other nations of the earth that want to do business with those and make investments in the properties that will be building surrounding them at the time. Think about new beachfront property. Is my point. That's what you're going to have.
What is the next problem this is going to solve? Is it the brown people?
Folks crossing the border
No, I'm
illegally,
not even
right?
concerned about the brown people. I'm not concerned about that. That's not my.
Well, then why do we want the border? Because I'm not sold on that yet.
I want a free open. I can go back and forth to Mexico easily, but I just need to use a boat.
You don't have
because I'm going to solve the climate change problem.
But no, you can't go back and forth easily. You're going to have to pay some fare, and you're going to have to be dependent upon the governments who you have allowed to claim that waterway.
Okay, because it's land, you don't have to pay a fare now? Is that what you're saying? We don't go through blue glove love?
You do, but you shouldn't. Just because this is the way it is, I'm not going to argue it's the way it should be.
I'm saying you have a shipping lane open from east to west, right? Think of all the commerce that will be generated from all of the cities that would sprout up. You would enrich Mexico and all of South America. That would flood to their northern border at that point. Follow what I'm saying?
I think that I would have to see feasibility of just doing this. I can't even imagine. This is a colossal undertaking. But you're right. I mean, there would be lots of jobs created. And if it's not government mandated, if it's not done through tax-paying dollars, then, I'm for everything that's voluntary. So this would be voluntary. I'm for it. I would, before you get my investment money, though, I'm going to need to know how possible is this? Like, what kind of undertaking would this be?
Laszlo, thank you so much for the call. That's certainly a take on the border that I've never heard before.
Never.
855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE is in freedom.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com. I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehashed stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live.
Do you think it's a respectable job to go around and threaten people over parking somewhere?
You're intentionally misrepresenting what a parking attendant does.
What
I
do
don't
they
think
do?
they threaten people in that manner. They write tickets.
What do you think a ticket is?
Annoying.
The ticket's
you
a
see,
threat.
this is why I think you come off so bad in those videos. This is not how people act in the real world. It's very unusual.
The parking enforcers are issuing threats, and that's what a ticket is. If you don't pay the ticket, there's a consequence behind that. They'll tow your car. In some cases, they'll boot your car. It depends on what city. The people that work downtown, a lot of them loved the Robin Hooders because the Robin Hooders would regularly save. These are the people who are putting change in expired parking meters downtown. They would regularly save downtown denizens, people who are working or living downtown, from getting multiple parking tickets every month.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealestate.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Give us a call. Let us know whatever is on your mind. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Melanie.
And Mark.
And Mark, you got something on your mind, it looks like.
Mostly what's on my mind is how many Mount Everests would be built by the medium, is what I'm going to call it, the sand, the dirt, whatever, that you dug out of a 20-mile wide canal that ran from the Pacific to the Atlantic Ocean along the U.S.'s southern border.
Well, to be fair, I rounded quite a lot, and I just realized I did 100 meters deep instead of 100 feet deep.
Okay.
So it would be about a third of this, realistically. Rather than 4 billion cubic meters, it would be about 1.5 billion.
So to make it 100 feet versus 100 meters deep, you would then have, let's see, to make it 100 meters, I can tell you that would be 19,000 Mount Everests. So if it was only a third of that.
Okay, so we're just making a new moon.
Right. I don't know. I don't know how many, I don't know how deep shipping ships. I don't know how deep these things go, but you're going to have to be ready for the shipping ships of the future, which will be going deeper, I presume. Right?
I would assume so.
So I don't know if 100 feet is sufficient.
So you want to go with 100 meters?
If you were to do 100 meters, and that's a good-sized hole, if you were to do
an enormous hole.
If you were to do 100 meters, you would have 19,512 Mount Everest's worth of medium. And that's actually a low number because Mount Everest is compacted, right? Like Mount Everest has been there a while. It's not just shifting sands or anything like that. If you're just taking sand and you're dropping it in a pile, then you probably would get something like double this. So you're really in the range of something like 40,000 Mount Everests of stuff.
Yeah, and we're looking at what looks to be, just off the top of my head, there's a lot of zeros here. About 25% of the ocean dumping into this canal.
Really?
Yeah, there's no way that's right. I'm doing
can't be
something,
right.
maybe 2.5%. Like I said, there's a lot of zeros here that I'm looking at.
The gentleman, Ladlow, who purported it did purport it as a solution to global warming. I would kind of think that you're going to want to get your depth ahead of time. This isn't the kind of thing you get another shot at.
Well, I mean, not once you open the final two,
Right. You need to build several. You need to start digging in several locations.
Yeah.
And then connect those locations, and then knock out the last little wall bits, and watch the most torrential. Like, this makes Noah's flood look tame. Like it comes in. Like it clashes in the middle, and like Tucson is blown to the moon. It's exciting. It's an exciting project, I gotta say.
It is. I would love to see it just for the spectacle.
I think we need thinkers like this.
Where are we going to put the 8,000 Mount Everests, though?
I'm going to build my own sovereign nation in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. That's what I'm going to do with it.
I mean, that's not a terrible idea. I mean, it's certainly these man-made islands are a thing now.
But I will be building on top of oil reserves, which means the United States government will have to invade me.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And they'll have a nice new waterway through which to launch that invasion.
Yep. New naval bases in coming through New Mexico and that sort of thing.
It's certainly something that I would like to see. I'm surprised by the sheer volume that we're talking about here. 4 billion cubic meters of dirt. That's gargantuan.
It is gigantic. There's no doubt about it. I want to tell you real quick about My Magic Mud. Is oral care important to you? Do you want to have a whiter, cleaner smile and fresh breath? My Magic Mud is a black tooth powder made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. And that sounds crazy, right? Well, we on Free Talk Live have been using My Magic Mud since they were just getting started. It's been years now, and I can testify that this is an awesome product. So indispensable to my life is that I haven't been without it since the very first time I tried it. And I use it about every 4 days to every 7 days. I would recommend, if you're going to do it, use it for 4 days in a row and then use it every 3, 4, 5 days, something like that afterward. And you'll see the effects. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and you'll see that within those first 4 days. And I think it cleans better than regular toothpaste, too. You can get My Magic Mud at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, and Walmart's Natural Beauty aisle. But you can get 20% off with code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20, mymagicmud.com.
Awesome. Let's go back to the phones. We've got Kenneth, who is calling in about a previous topic we were discussing. Calling in from Colorado. Kenneth, you are on Free Talk Live.
Hey there. I'm your stereotypical libertarian crypto fan.
Awesome.
And go ahead.
Yeah, that's us here too.
Yeah. And I'm rather paranoid about my wallet and so forth. And it occurred to me that I don't really want to keep crypto on my phone. So I was just doing a sort of a mental challenge to myself. Why not use, and this seems to be kind of avant-garde in the context of the way it was once thought of, but why not use a paper wallet as your wallet? You could go and send money to a paper wallet and carry that around inside your billfold, and you don't have to worry about your phone being hacked or anything.
How would you spend out of it, though?
Well, you're going to have a QR code on it, right?
Yep.
And there's also been reports of paper wallets being hacked.
Yeah, how is it going to be hacked when it's in your wallet?
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, they have NFC readers and things like that.
What's an NFC
reader?
reader?
Well, I'm talking about a paper wallet. So you can't electronically hack a piece of paper.
Well, you can't spend out of a paper wallet. I mean, that I know of.
No, the majority
It's a
of
wallet.
the paper
it's got a
wallets.
QR code.
The majority of the
got a
paper
QR
wallets,
code,
as
just like
they're
any other
called,
wallet.
are actually transmitting some sort of information.
Yeah, but you can't pull crypto,
No.
so you need more than a QR code to spend.
What you're talking about is cold storage, not necessarily a paper
No, this
wallet.
is my point. My challenge is that it would be just as good as an actual wallet. Now, maybe this needs to be modified. Maybe it doesn't. And I will try this and get back with you if I'm correct. But let's say that it's not possible. It should be something you can do because it's something that cannot be electronically hacked, and you can carry it around, and the only thing you got to worry about is losing it like you would a $100 bill or something.
So do you mean to keep
You see
your...
what I'm saying?
So there's... for a paper wallet can have 2 QR codes. You can have one that is the private keys to that paper wallet.
Yeah, you don't... Right, you want the private key to be separate. You don't want that on that piece of paper.
Okay, then
But the
what you're
idea
talking
would be
about, you
could
cannot
flash
spend out
this.
of. You can't
Okay,
spend
but
out
you...
of.
Certainly not, but Kenneth,
Okay, well, then
I like where you're thinking on this subject. Certainly, give it a shot. You have this idea, go for it, and give us a call. Let us know how it turns out, because if you can come up with a way for people to actually carry their cryptocurrency around in a secure manner without, having their phone hacked or anything like that, it would be a huge gift to the crypto community. 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE as in freedom.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. Tell us whatever's on your mind. Give us a call at 855-450-FREE, as in freedom, 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And we've been all over the place a little bit, but Mark, I think you've got something you need to share with us.
Yeah, are you trying to reach the crypto market? Or perhaps you want to spread mass awareness of your crypto technology? Either way, you need a communications company that specializes in the field. Leveraging 35-plus different brands, part of the Investor Brand Network, and more than 5,000 downstream distribution partners, Cryptocurrency Wire combines the power of specialization with mass market reach. With their help, you can start connecting with crypto-friendly journalists and more than 1.6 million followers. Their commitment is to get the most eyes possible on your big news while it's fresh. Domestic, international. They can reach 56 different countries and also provide translation services. Even if your company is an important, relevant newsmaker, you need someone that specializes in the field to get your message heard. CryptocurrencyWire.com. We've used them here on Free Talk Live to much success. CryptocurrencyWire.com.
It's a cool service. I might need to look into that for Call to Freedom.
They were great for us. We released the news about the orphanage through them. Got picked up in several news things. Talkers Magazine found it that way. We never get stories in Talkers.
Very cool. Well, let's go back to the phones. We've got Gabriel calling from Pennsylvania. Gabriel, you are on Free Talk Live.
God bless America.
All right.
I live in a free country in spite of ugly people like you that shouldn't even exist.
People shouldn't exist?
Oh.
Wow. Send the military after them. They won't.
Yeah.
What are we doing to make the country not free so that it's in spite of us?
There you go.
That's a good question. I mean, nothing existing ultimately at the end of the day. You know, a lot of people are uncomfortable with the existence of anything that is outside of their normal worldview,
or whatever they agree with, right?
Yeah.
I think, Melanie, one might argue that it is the brave men and women of the military following the orders of the lying and thieving politicians in Washington, D.C. who keep us free. And therefore, people who do not support the brave men and women of the military who are, following the orders of liars and thieves in Washington, D.C., that if it wasn't for them, we would not be free. So since we don't show the proper support for those people, then we must be anti-America, anti-freedom, anti-all these things.
Well, there's a lot of bad assumptions in that.
Oh, yeah, that's a mess.
I mean, namely, that the U.S. government is literally the one responsible for us not being free.
Well,
so
the idea that a brave person is keeping you free by not just following orders, but if they don't follow orders, they go to jail of liars and thieves. Like somehow the person who's working for the liars and thieves in Washington, D.C. is the results of their hard labor. Even if they're, no one's going to say that the young men and women of the military aren't giving their blood, sweat, and tears to their particular tasks.
Well, certainly.
Well, so, and even if you believe all that, I'm not aware of any impeding of the U.S. military that I do.
No, I don't stop them.
No, I would like to. I mean, ideologically, I don't want to actually stand in the way of their tanks and their jets. I'm like, no, you can't launch
Which
this.
wouldn't actually stop them anyway, so...
No, they would plow right through me.
Yeah.
They wouldn't stop at all. So we've been talking about Craig Wright and his relationship to Bitcoin and his latest attempt to cement that position by claiming not just to be Satoshi, but to actually copyright the Bitcoin white paper, which unfortunately someone is going to have to actually contest in court in order for the U.S. government to reject it. Is that correct? Because what I've heard is that they just essentially first come, first serve.
Yeah, so it's more or less first come, first serve. Then you would have to prove that you created the thing first, and then the person who filed first would get the copyright denied.
Now, how does this apply in regard to the Bitcoin white paper, which is all over the internet at this point?
So someone else...
I mean, is it not public domain and uncopyrightable?
No. So someone else would have to, A, claim that they wrote it, and B, prove that if he gets this copyrighted first, in order to, not just for them to hold the copyright, but to make Craig not hold the copyright.
Right. So a person could not only, probably fail to prove that they are the actual copyright holder and that Craig Wright is a fraud, but they could simply prove that Craig Wright is a fraud by, in their suit also, right?
Well, so
they wouldn't have
standing
to sue him, though.
Yeah, so you would not have to prove, you would, in fact, prove this kind of collaterally, but you would have to prove not that he's committing fraud and didn't write it, but you would have to prove that you did write it.
Right, because otherwise you wouldn't have standing to sue.
But what if you...
Well, that's also true, but
okay,
it's also... that would be what your claim would have to be.
Well, hold on. So if I filed a claim that said that I am Satoshi Nakamoto, and Craig Wright had also filed one, but he filed it before me. And so, for whatever reason, I'm the guy who gets the case. The judge says, "All right, I'll hear your stupid case," and it is. In the case, I can prove that unequivocally, Craig Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto.
Doesn't matter.
And did not write it.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Will he be able to retain the copyright at that point? He will retain the copyright even if he is not Satoshi Nakamoto. The only thing that they can...
they probably won't even let you introduce evidence that he is not Satoshi Nakamoto or that he did not write the paper.
Let me ask you this,
because the claim is that you did.
Okay.
If you just put the Bitcoin white paper on, like, the Pirate Bay or something, and you're extremely open about it, let's say his claim is upheld, and he's given the copyright.
It sounds like somebody's could be. It may be his. I don't know.
And let's say he attempts to enforce copyright law against you by saying, hey, you're sharing my white paper. Would you then have standing to sue and say, well, this is not your white paper? That would be...
I don't think so. I don't know that that's ever been done before.
Your defense would essentially be that his copyright claim isn't valid.
I don't know that it's not valid legally, though.
Well, can I file a copyright on the Bible?
I think technically.
Bibles are copyrighted.
By whom?
The various publishers.
Translators? But
Probably.
I'm talking about the actual seminal work from which they get these things.
Like the original texts?
Yeah, whatever they're getting this stuff from.
I don't know if that's U.S. domain.
How about the Dead Sea Scrolls? If he was to buy a Dead Sea Scroll, would he be able to copyright it?
I don't know what the legal status of the Dead Sea Scrolls are.
Well, let's say, in theory, he could maintain ownership of it. He could get and own it. That would make their legal status his property.
That's a separate issue from copyright, though.
Well, there are documents in the world that we certainly know I am not the author of, right?
Yeah, so you're...
And I know that Craig Wright is not the author of the Bitcoin white paper.
You're also... even if you were to copyright the Dead Scrolls, your issue you might run into is that the copyright would be... I don't know if this is the proper terminology, but like retroactively expired, because you get like
99
so
years,
many years,
right?
And it's been that long.
Okay. I just think the possibility that is even remotely feasible, in whatever way we may have to twist the circumstances to make it possible, that someone could copyright the Dead Sea Scrolls. That to me is the absurd point.
Oh yeah, it's completely obnoxious. But This is IP law.
In speaking of Satoshi and Bitcoin, from what I've read of Satoshi's works and from what I understand of him, she is the very last person who would attempt to weaponize the state in this way against someone else or against the public as a whole. Saying, hey, this is mine and you can't have it, kind of runs counter to the entire principles behind Bitcoin.
I mean, this is nothing but someone thinking that they're going to try to destroy it. This is not somebody protecting their work, obviously.
No.
Now, is it not possible that he's doing all of this to try to draw out the real Satoshi?
Maybe.
I don't know. He just seems psychotic to me.
855-450-FREE. Let us know what you think.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTL50. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50 for a discount.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, you probably now realize it wasn't a good idea, and the financial strain it's putting on you and your family has you stressed, and you probably think there's no way out. This is Steve Sanchez, and you know I've been an advocate for hardworking Americans just like you for 27 years, and there's a way out of this financial nightmare, and my friends at Wesley Financial, the leading timeshare cancellations company in the country, can help you cancel your timeshare guaranteed. Being lied to, misled, and pressured into buying a timeshare doesn't have to be your story, but freedom of being out of it can be. I have a special free information kit that will give you the step-by-step process that Wesley Financial uses to get you out of your timeshare guaranteed. Call 1-800-501-6100. That's 1-800-501-6100 or visit stevesanchez.info. You don't have to have the financial nightmare of a timeshare any longer. Wesley Financial can help you get out guaranteed. Call 1-800-501-6100.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. There's still time if you call now to get on the lines. The number's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And speaking of the phones, we're going to go now to David, calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Well, a couple things. If I sound distracted as I'm shooting cows with the pellet gun while I talk to you.
That sounds kind of cruel.
What the cows ever do to you?
Yeah, come in my yard and destroy everything.
Wow.
Okay, well, I guess...
do you think you're successfully teaching them, or just, at this point, is it just target practice?
It's both, actually. That's funny psychology. Funny you mentioned it, because I leave the gate wide open, and
it sounds like you're the one who needs to be taught something.
Wait,
here.
are they your cows or are they somebody else's cows from like down the road?
No, there's somebody else's cows. This is open range. They go wherever they want to. You got to fence them out, but they never come in. The only ones that ever come in are the ones that there's one here and there that'll jump the fence. They won't use the gate because most of them I got trained. There's like 180 of them altogether out here. And I got almost all of them trained except for one or two that occasionally will jump the fence. But the rest of them will walk right by the open gate without coming in because they've all been shot before.
I have never seen a cow jump. How high is this fence?
Well, it's not as high as the one that jumped over the moon. This one is only cows can jump.
Cows jump.
I don't doubt that they jump. I just don't think they would have the clearance of a 3-foot fence.
Well, they certainly do, because I just watched her jump a 3-foot fence while we were talking. A rodeo bull can clear a 6-foot fence.
Okay, fair points.
Yeah, but
well,
anyhow,
I have not
jump.
spent a great deal of time around cows. Despite being from Mississippi, I tend to avoid them because they smell. So, other than the cows, what's on your mind?
A couple things. Thanks for the memories. I got a couple things, but on your flooding, I remember reading something many years ago, Mark, that during that they found evidence in the earth here in North America. I don't know if up in Montana. Canyonlands, Montana, Idaho, Utah, I don't remember exactly, Wyoming, exactly where it was. You can probably Google it and find it by searching some keywords. When the ice age was ending and glacial water was melting and forming lakes, and then you'd have ice dams, and then one would break, and all that water would be released. And this is water that's potentially a mile deep, so it could be a couple 100 feet deep, 1,000 feet deep, couple thousand, up to a mile deep, and then all of a sudden the dam breaks and it all releases and carries that water and all the boulders and stuff that it picks up along the way. And they found evidence of that happening one specific place in particular in the United States where that happened. And I don't remember the details, like how deep the water was, but it was very, very deep. And it'd be an interest. If you search it, it's actually interesting reading. But memories. Thanks for reminding me that atomic bomb, that my cousin Ernest Orlando Lawrence was the guy who was in charge of making all of that nuclear material for those first bombs. And,
for the atomic bomb that was dropped on Nagasaki or Hiroshima or wherever?
Yeah, and the test bombs that preceded. He's the one, Ernest Orlando Lawrence. He's the one that was in charge of making all of that, and he's the one that got Oppenheimer hired by recommending to General Groves that Groves hire Oppenheimer. And he used to debate Oppenheimer on a weekly basis about just fun science stuff, and used to beat him. But yeah, so anyway, that was one memory you remind me of. And then thanks for dredging up another bomb of a memory. My baby mama ex, a girlfriend of hers, used to date Val Kilmer, the guy who called in and brought up Val Kilmer.
Doesn't Val Kilmer live not too far from you? Doesn't he have like a ranch in New Mexico?
Are you shooting his cows? Are you shooting Val Kilmer's cows?
No, I don't think these don't belong to him. These are a little bit far from his home. He's up in Pecos, which is down the road from Santa Fe, like 45 minutes or half hour, 45 minutes. Got a ranch up there. And
Very cool.
That's why
David, really, best of luck with the cows. I would prefer if you not shoot them with stuff. But, I mean, if you're not injuring them and you're just trying to get them off your property, okay, I get it.
If they know that every time they go there, they get shot, maybe they'll quit going there. I don't know if cows are smart enough to figure that out. But.
So I had I think it was a Crossman 880. This is the kind of pump BB gun that you can pump one time or you can pump it like 10 times. And the maximum recommendation is 10 times. But you can actually pump it more than that and get it going, right? And as a child, I grew up on a farm. And I'm not going to claim to have always had the same set of morals and discretion that I have today. And
very upfront of you to admit that.
If you pump one of these things one time and shoot an old cow with it, there's a possibility it doesn't even notice.
Okay.
The cows are getting bit by bugs all the time. And we used to shoot each other with these things pumped one time or so. However, if you shoot a bull in the place that makes him a bull, the dangly parts that hang underneath that one
I got it.
sack area, he notices right away. Like that jumping thing that you're talking about. Yes, he notices in that manner.
I mean, isn't that how they get bulls riled up for rodeos and things like that in the first place? Not by shooting them there necessarily, but by agitating them painfully?
I don't know how they get bulls ready in a rodeo, but I mean, I'd hate to be the guy whose job it is to go after to massage the bull's scrotum before the event.
I will say it would have to pay very well.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't think the idea of getting on top of that bull is probably the best idea, but hey, to each their own, whatever people find entertaining.
You got to have a hobby.
Yep. Let's go to the phones one last time. We got Mark calling in from Denver. Mark, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yes. Thank you for having me. I really just wanted to say I don't understand why you don't appreciate or are thankful for the people who gave their lives for our freedoms in America.
Because they didn't give their lives for our freedom.
I did a whole show on wanting to see the people who commit suicide be recognized during Memorial Day. So I think that I can say that I do care about that. But, I mean, how do you respond to Aria's claim that, in fact, they don't protect freedom?
Well, I mean, whether you agree with the politicians that send them off to die.
That's what it is. Okay, so you're talking about the statement I made that young people following the orders of liars and thieves in Washington, D.C. Okay, great. Right. Awesome.
I'm talking about the demonstrable fact that the current military is not protecting our freedoms.
I want to leave that aside. I want to just, I think that this one's easier to handle. Do you think that the politicians in Washington, D.C. are by and large liars and thieves?
Oh, I agree.
Okay, great.
Mark.
So, awesome. Then we're on the same page. So when somebody joins the military, and I was certainly looking to do it when I was a kid, when somebody joins the military, they take an oath. They swear an oath to, the president and the Constitution. So we've got, one politician at that point, and then, of course, the Constitution says that Congress gets to declare war. So we also know that, the Department of Defense is there at the behest of the politicians, the things that the politicians want and that the military-industrial complex wants the politicians to want and all this stuff, that all that stuff is that you're signing up, as a young person, you're signing up to obey the orders of liars and thieves. Is that a correct statement?
I agree with that, Mark.
Okay, great. Yes. That's all I'm saying.
They are acting in the service of liars and thieves.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're, I'm not saying anything else other than we are tricking generation after generation after generation of people. And at some point, somebody has to speak clearly about what this job is. This job.
Mark, they still gave their lives and their limbs and their blood and their guts.
Yes.
And
but it was not in defense of freedom.
Day, Memorial Day 2019, I still appreciate everything they did.
I appreciate bravery, and I would say that many of them were brave.
What did they do for you that you appreciate?
Well, for example, the men of Iwo Jima. I mean, they gave their lives to defeat an evil empire, and I appreciate that. They gave their lives in the Battle of the Bulge to defeat Hitler, who was going to make us all into our skins into lampshades. I mean,
Well, I don't
Mark,
think Hitler would have got here, but we don't have much time to debate it. But I appreciate it on this Memorial Day. Thank you for your call.
This has been Free Talk Live. Don't go anywhere, though. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. 855-450-FREE. Give us a call tomorrow night. Let us know what you think we got wrong.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,285. Silver at $14.55. And Bitcoin is trading around $7,995. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, last week, the California Senate passed a bill that would establish limited state-chartered banks to serve the cannabis industry. Final passage of the legislation would remove a major federal roadblock in front of the developing industry in the state and further nullify federal prohibition in practice. The Free Thought Project reports that Senator Bob Herzog, a Democrat from California, along with a bipartisan coalition of 8 co-sponsors, filed Senate Bill 51 on December 4th. The legislation would create a self-contained banking system for the cannabis industry in California. Because marijuana remains illegal under federal law, cannabis businesses in states that have legalized marijuana remain effectively locked out of the banking system. If a federally chartered or insured financial institution touches marijuana money, it takes on significant legal risk. The federal government insures or charters virtually every bank in the U.S., and as a result, cannabis businesses have been forced to transact almost exclusively in cash. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. and believe so strongly in the power of Kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of Kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A coalition of approximately 600 people, including anti-fascists, communists, and other activists, many of them armed, showed up to confront a small group of Ku Klux Klan members who assembled in Dayton, Ohio. In total, only 9 Klansmen attended. The group had banners, one reading Honorable Sacred Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, and the other reading Diversity Equals Genocide. One held a sign reading It's Okay to be White, with the OK hand sign. News2Share.com reports they also waved KKK, American, and Confederate flags. The group assembled Saturday at Courthouse Square and had a barricade, 60 meters of empty space, 2 police lines, and 2 fences between them and the coalition of counter-demonstrators. Dayton City Manager Shelley Dickstein told the Dayton Daily News that the KKK rally cost the city about $650,000 in personnel and materials. Many activists from several groups came armed themselves, open-carrying rifles and handguns. 2 officers who dumped 18 rounds into a hostage to save her life have been found in violation of the department's policy, but have not been fired. That's according to a report from the Free Thought Project, which says that Los Angeles police previously released graphic body camera footage showing officers opening fire on a man armed with a knife who'd taken a 49-year-old woman hostage. In the shooting, police killed both the man with the knife and the innocent hostage. Now, the department is claiming that the officers who opened fire on the innocent woman are being disciplined. However, they will face no criminal charges and will likely not even be fired. Last week, a civilian oversight panel ruled that 2 of the 3 cops who responded to the scene that day violated department policy on the use of deadly force. It will now be up to LAPD Chief Michael Moore to decide exactly what discipline measures he will take with the officers. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
It's the Onion Radio News. A man on TV urges the mass purchase of Listerine. This is Doyle Redland reporting. In what is believed to be the widest-reaching appeal ever made by an individual on behalf of an oral hygiene aid, an unidentified man urged millions of people across the U.S. to purchase Listerine brand antiseptic mouthwash today. Experts are baffled as to why a person with the power to reach millions would choose to present an oral hygiene-related message. FCC spokesperson Grant Yarborough.
This individual should be so obsessed with oral hygiene as to demand that several million bottles of Listerine be simultaneously purchased is baffling.
The man, described as a handsome, trustworthy-looking individual in his early 30s, emphatically stressed that Listerine should be purchased over other, inferior mouthwash brands. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it.